All right. So I was talking to my wife the other day, and she was telling me that when you go through the apps and the classes and all the stuff to learn German, the thing they don't do is they don't teach you how to use numbers. They'll teach you the sequence, they'll teach you eins, they'll teach you zwei, but they won't actually teach you the A, how to use it, and then B, the different variations of those numbers. So I thought today we change some of that. Maybe we can go through and talk about what the numbers are. Go ahead and go over basic sequence for them, but then also kind of talk about some of the other things that you can do with the numbers, right? So let's get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover 1 through 10 today. So you have your 1, 2. By the way, interesting facts. In Germany, we don't write our numbers like you do here. We do a little bow right there. Just thought it would be kind of fun to know. You got your 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another one that's a little different. In Germany, they'll actually do almost like a G. And then we got your 10. All right, so you're not here for English. I was just writing them down. So your 1 is eins. You have zwei. And then you have drei. And then you have vier. The 5 is deine fünf. This one's one of the tricky ones because you have to use a mouth that you're not used to. You have to do the oo, the fun U, right? Ü. And you have sechs. If you're wondering if that's the inappropriate word or the fun word, yes, it is. It's okay to say that in German. Sieben. That's your 7. Acht. 9. And 10. Now, if you've been going through these numbers wondering why I drew an apple up there, we're going to count apples. Now, here's the thing, though. Nothing in German is ever simple. When you count something, you'll drop the S off of your 1. So instead of saying eins, you're going to say ein, right? So it's a apple is ein Apfel. Oop. Remember, nouns in Germany are capitalized. Ein Apfel. And it's not Apfel, it's Apfel. Just testing you, making sure you're paying attention. Ein Apfel. Zwei Äpfel. This is where you learn the A with the umlaut on it. A. Like a font. A. Drei Äpfel. And then you keep going. 4 Äpfel. 5 Äpfel. 6 Äpfel. 7 Äpfel. 8 Äpfel. 9 Äpfel. 10 Äpfel. Once you had 10 apples, we're going to go ahead and stop there because that's a lot of fiber. Don't want to overdo it. Let's get rid of some of these lines. Try to keep this a little cleaner. Okay, so we can count to 10. Again, let's repeat. Eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, acht, neun, 10. Awesome. You're doing great. Simple stuff. But of course, just like in the US, if you want to talk about a thing that you've done for the one time. You're not going to say one time. You're going to say first time. That's kind of what I want to teach you in this lesson too. So you have your first is dein erste. So let's say today is your first German class. Let's say erste deutsche Klasse. Again, remember, or if you don't know this, but in German, your nouns are always capitalized when you're writing them out. So this is a capital K. All right. First part, the first letter in the sentence, and every noun is always capitalized. Names of cities and people, names in general, also capitalized. But those are the two big ones, important ones to know. Erste deutsche Klasse. So today is your first German class. You're going to subscribe today, and you're going to come back next time for your second German class. That's your zweite deutsche Klasse. I'm not going to bore you typing this out or writing this out every time. Your third is deine dritte deutsche Klasse. And then you have your vierte deutsche Klasse. Hopefully, when you come back to the fifth class, deine fünfte deutsche Klasse, my handwriting will be a little better as well. Now, I do this out of habit because the American keyboards don't have the umlaut on it, and you're not going to find me holding down Alt just to type in a bunch of code. The shortcut for Americans that don't have umlauts to write the umlaut is to type in UE. So your U and E is your U. Your A and E is your A. And then we haven't talked about this one today yet, but your O, so the O and E is your Ö. Okay? That's how you can type that stuff without having to put in your alt codes for everything. But it's a bad habit of me to write it out when I'm teaching you guys something. So I'm going to go ahead and fix it here. But if you ever see me do this by accident, just know it's just a habit for having typed it wrong or this way for as long as I have been. Fünfte deutsche Klasse. Then you got your sixth, sechste deutsche Klasse. You got your seventh, so that's your siebte deutsche Klasse. Die achte deutsche Klasse. Die neunte deutsche Klasse. And then the last one is going to be your 10th. Die zehnte deutsche Klasse. All right. Hopefully by the time you come back for the 10th class, you can teach me how to do this stuff. Okay, so what did we learn? We counted to 10. You got your eins. Let's pick a different color. You got your eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, acht, neun, 10. Okay. You also learned that if you actually specify a one of something, so a something, it's you drop the S off of the your one. So it's instead of saying eins, you just say ein. That can change, by the way. I should have specified that earlier. If you're talking about something that's feminine, so something that starts with D, so let's say die Banane, which is the banana, you're actually going to say eine. So you're going to do an E instead of the E. So it's eine banana. Banana. Sorry, lots of N's. Okay. So this part here changes based on gender. So a apple is ein Apfel. And so forth. You got ein Apfel or eine Banane, zwei Äpfel, drei Äpfel, vier Äpfel, fünf Äpfel, sechs Äpfel, sieben Äpfel, acht Äpfel, neun Äpfel, 10 Äpfel. Okay. The last thing, das letzte, was ich dir zeigen wollte, the last thing I wanted to show you or talk to you about was your firsts, your seconds. It's an important one. We all should know that. It's also part of counting, right? We all kind of know the ones, the twos, the threes, but we can also count in the firsts, the seconds, the thirds, the fourths. Let me show you those. So you have your erste, zweite, your third is your dritte. That's 2 T's, by the way. Sorry. Vierte. Your fifth is your fünfte. Sixth is sechste. Seventh is siebte. Eighth is achte. Ninth is neunte. 10th is zehnte. Okay. And then the reason that we have this over here is just so you know a little trick on how you can type stuff out without having to use alt codes. And I do this. I still write mail and stuff to my mom, and when I do, instead of using the alt codes to find U, A, Ö, I just do UE. I don't know. It's old school. I don't know if it's still appropriate. I use it. Nobody complains. Okay, cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this today. I know it's a short lesson. I know maybe you learned something. I hope you learned something. And you'll be back next time for more. Thank you, guys.